Welcome to Vermontitude, a collaborative effort between Great Eastern Radio, the Brattleboro Reformer, and BCTV to bring you the stories behind the stories on the topics you want to learn more about. Because there's always more, so there'll always be Vermontitude. Hosted by me, Peter Fish Case. Welcome to Vermontitude. New episodes drop every Tuesday and can be found by going to Vermontitude.com, Reformer.com, Brattleboro.tv, and locally on Comcast Channel 1078. We come to you from our studios at the Innovation Box on Landmark Hill. I'm Peter Fish Case, and each week I cover the topics that are of concern to Windham County and the towns that reside within its border. Now, today's not a concern. Today's just kind of fun, and so I welcome onto the program Austin Rice, who is a writer and director of an upcoming feature-length film called Nightmare at Nana's, and his director of photography, Angus Reid, and I guess co-collaborator, I guess is more of a fair of a thing. All right, guys, welcome. Let's first of all let's cover this. Nightmare at Nana's. What does that mean? I don't know. Either one of you, I guess, can answer that question.
Nightmare at Nana's. It is a horror comedy film, as you said, and it's about these two brothers, Nick and Simon, who are traveling to a big audition for Nick. It's kind of his last chance to get his musical aspirations off the ground.
Okay.
And on their road trip to get there, they become stranded in the woods, and they
as one does
in Vermont.
Okay.
And without cell service, they end up taking refuge with a nice old lady, Nana, who it tends to take in and help out young people who are, down on their luck.
Okay.
And little do they know that over the course of their stay there, there's a psychopath lurking in the woods, watching them and waiting for his moment to strike.
Oh.
And things just go downhill from there.
Okay. So horror and comedy. It's a classic combination, like peanut butter and jelly, right? Of the film world. So you wrote this, and now you're directing this.
Right.
All right. So how long have you been writing these things? Because this is not your first, but both of you, right? You're kind of you've been working together for a while.
Right.
What?
2015.
Yeah.
How long?
2015.
Oh, wow.
Little Balzac.
Yeah.
Number one.
There you go. Of course, it's not a day until you get to say that, right? All right. So what inspired you to write this? Why this?
Well, this one, honestly, it's been kind of in a slow development and gestation period since 2015. I wrote the original idea back then and have ever since been kind of developing and doing different versions of it until it felt like it was really right. Mm-hmm. And like I had the team around me that could execute something that would be impressive and exciting. And that I personally had the experience under my belt to pull it off.
Angus, let's focus on you for a second. Director of photography. What does that mean? It's like key grip. Is that like I never understood that one either.
The key grip is someone who works with the director of photography.
Okay.
But basically, Austin's job is he's got a movie to make, and he's going to be working primarily with the actors. But in terms of putting the movie onto film, as it were. That'll be my responsibility in terms of, how do you do that? How do you get these actors in these rooms into a picture that's going to work to tell the story?
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if we're kind of this is sort of how the sausage is made, right? A little bit. Let's talk about some of the folks that are in the movies, and so the nice thing about this is it's all just sort of a real local project to Brattleboro.
Right. Yeah, I'd say about 80% of the people on the cast and crew are local. Mm-hmm. And that's been really satisfying for me personally because I have always wanted to help foster a film scene in the area that is, had narrative, exciting projects to work on and stuff that we just don't see around here that often. And so some of the people involved, we've got two of our lead actors who play the brothers I mentioned. Cameron Lloyd and Michael Lloyd. And they're brothers in real life too.
Oh, that's easy. That's almost cheating.
Yeah, right. All right. And then we also have Rosa Palmieri, who is from the Vermont Suitcase Company and NEYT. And then some of the other people from elsewhere. There's Vito Trigo coming from New Jersey, and he's been in lots of Trauma film productions. And then we also have Annie Tisdale, who's a 12-year-old actor from Boston coming in. And yeah, those are some of the leads.
All right. So Nightmare at Nana's. Who's playing Nana?
Well, that is that's a bit of a secret at this point. Because we're in discussion and have conversation with a notable 80s scream queen who is well respected and has a fan base in the horror community. And she has over 200 horror films under her belt since the 80s. And she loves the part. She wants to do it. And she wrote a letter of intent to do it. So we just have to do the fundraising campaign without publicly disclosing her name.
All right.
But then she's on board.
Okay. All right. Speaking of which, that's one of the reasons why we came here today, because you're doing some things. You need, can we talk about your budget?
Sure.
All right. So how much do you need to put together such a local production?
Yeah. At this point, we're just, because Angus has such a wealth of video gear, we don't really need to fundraise for gear, which
all right. Thank you, Angus.
This is like an ideal situation for making a movie.
All right.
But what we're raising money for are the ambitious practical effects, because this is definitely an homage and a love letter to 80s horror films that have those practical effects and don't rely on CGI.
Right.
So we want to do as much of it in camera as possible.
Talking blood, guts.
Everything you can imagine. Yeah.
That's what
Heads.
As a guy who woke up to and was raised on 80 horror films, I appreciate all of that. Cool. So you need how much again? I'm sorry.
So we're fundraising for the effects, and then also to just pay all the cast and crew for their time. That's what we're raising the budget for.
Right.
And so we have the goal of $45,000 in total. We already have $10,000 pledged towards the effects.
All right.
So that's taken care of. And now we're just trying to fundraise to pay everybody involved for the production time and for catering, so everybody's fed.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to raise an additional 35 for that.
Okay. So I know we had a chance to talk. You're doing your fundraising kickoff on November 15th, which is less than 2 weeks away at this point, at 118 Elliott. So talk a little bit about that and how folks can get involved, and just kind of, let's just say you're supporting the local art form here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the kickoff event is going to feature most of the cast and crew at 118 Elliott, and we're going to read some selections from the scripts in a table read kind of format. We'll show some clips of our past projects, because between our work and our producer Sam and some of the other cast members, we've got quite a bit of stuff to look at between us all. And we'll do a Q&A with everybody so they can ask us questions about the production, why we think it's worth supporting. And then we'll just kind of wine and dine people a little bit too.
Okay. Yeah. It's all about whining and dining, man. That's it. It's definitely a sales process, but something I think that's a super fun project. So, and I'm happy that it's being done right here. But that is just the first. So that's the kickoff, and then you're doing a double feature. Where are you doing that?
So there's a double feature screening of our previous short films, the Little Balzac films, and we're showing that at the Hooker Dunham Theater on November 23rd. All
right. And that's also by donation, all the proceeds going towards. All right. So so here you are. You're coasting along. These two events, hopefully hugely successful, raise all the money you need, and you don't need any more. When will you start filming?
Well, let me just back up for 1 second, which is that, so the kickoff event, the one last thing I forgot to mention is that's when we are going to launch our Seed and Spark fundraising page. So we are starting our crowdsourcing efforts here locally and trying to tap into what we have here, but then boosting it out to the wide world online as well. So we're not expecting Brattleboro to foot the whole $35,000 bill for us. But they do great.
If your parents don't live in the state, right?
Right.
So no, all right. So there'll be an online fundraising thing, and that'll be shared far and wide. But okay, so again, so everything works out for you, and it's great. It's thumbs up. When do we start seeing cameras on the streets where people are going, what are they doing?
Sure.
When does that happen?
So we'll be in active pre-production for the next several months, and then we're going to start filming in July of 2025.
Okay.
And the goal is to basically get all of principal photography done in a few weeks in that month.
That on you, Angus?
Well, it's on everyone to cooperate, but
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
it comes to me.
He dodged that one. All right. But is that where like the rubber hits the road for you?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So July 2025. I mean, is that, does this project go forward even if it's still in a fundraising capacity?
Yeah, I'd say one of the great things about the crew we've assembled is a lot of us come from a kind of a DIY filmmaking background. And so regardless of what budget we end up with, we're going to make the movie.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, the more funds we have, the more ambitious we can get. And also the more efficient we can be with the shooting. Because, if people are trying to juggle paying their bills through day jobs while also filming, then it gets spread out more.
Yeah.
If we can all just be hyper focused on this thing for a few weeks, then it'll get done really quick.
Yeah. Oh, so you're hoping to like start filming in July and have it like in production by a few months later?
I imagine we'll be doing post-production for, several months because we really want to turn out something that's as polished as it can possibly be.
All right.
But I'd say I've got the dream of having a kind of Halloween 2026 premiere.
Oh, nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. And you would do that locally here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Great. Anything we're leaving out? Is there a website where people can go find more information? Anything like that?
We've got the Seed and Spark. Seed and Spark is like a Kickstarter for indie films.
Okay.
And so we've got a web page set up for that.
All right. I'll link it in the description here.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure it's like one of these obnoxiously long emails, so we'll make sure it's linked there. Anything else we're leaving out, guys?
Thanks for listening and for giving us the platform.
I'm
here.
excited
I
for you.
appreciate it.
I think it'll be. I think this is a super fun project. I love that you're keeping it local. I love that there's a player to be named later who's a scream queen person. So that's all exciting stuff. So really, good luck, and maybe we'll have you come back right before the premiere.
Sounds great.
Sounds
All
great.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.